air at the CMHR. Now, the museum doesn't officially open until September 20th, but we're giving you a sneak peek with some travel journalists. So I'm here at the CTC in Vancouver, and all our travel journalists are inside the CMHR to give you a preview of what you will be able to see in Winnipeg. Now, today joining us from Winnipeg are Jim Byers, a travel columnist for the Toronto Star. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Ole Helmhausen, an accomplished travel writer from Germany. Hi, Ole.
Hello, Emily.
And Mark Sissons. Mark Sissons, who is a freelance travel journalist who was raised in Winnipeg, so he'll give us a point of view, an interesting point of view on that. And we have Christina Pfeiffer from Australia joining us, a travel writer as well. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
And Adrian Brijbassi, the social media and advocacy manager for the Canadian Tourism Commission. Hi, Adrian.
Hey, Emily. Good to see you.
All right, so let's get started with Adrian. Tell us a bit more about this building.
Hey, Emily. This is the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. It's the first national museum built in Canada since 1967, and it's gleaming. It's 260,000 square feet of wow. It's a magnificent structure. The only national building in Canada outside of the Ottawa region. We're having a big party tonight. It officially launches on September 20th, but we're giving everyone a sneak peek today. The world's media is here. This is a very significant event for Winnipeg and for Canada.
Great. That's fantastic. Now, Jim, would you like to give us your first impressions of the museum?
Yeah, you know, I'm blown away by this place. It's so spectacular. They've got apparently it's limestone from Manitoba called Tyndall stone from the area of Tyndall, Manitoba. It's the same limestone used in the Parliament buildings in Parliament Hill in Ottawa. So there's kind of a nice connection there between Ottawa and Winnipeg. But they've got these series of ramps, kilometer after kilometer apparently, of ramps up and down the building that are, it's like almost an opaque alabaster. And they've got this really awesome cave-like opaque lighting that's going along as you walk up into the light from the darkness below into the light and see the light about human rights. So it's utterly spectacular interior, and the outside is gleaming and shiny, and it's a real great addition to Winnipeg for sure.
Thank you, Jim. Now, as you can see, we have another CTC member, Kaan Yalkin, who's walking around the museum taking scenes of those trails that Jim was just talking about. Now, it really looks great from what we can see. Now, Ole, you're from Europe. You know, well, I don't know. You must know a lot about architecture. Do you want to give us a little your first impressions of the museum?
Well, I love to, Emily. It's something that I've never seen before. I'm standing in front of, when I came, the taxi put me out of here. I got out of the taxi and I didn't know what I saw. It looked like it looked like a pot. Then it looks like a rocket. It looks like a mountain of limestone. And then when you get closer, you see that there is a huge glass cloud that encapsulates the whole building. And there's lots of limestone on the other side that balances the whole impression. And I've been just now, as we speak, I'm on the 5th floor, and I just had the pleasure to walk these alabaster ramps, and it's an aesthetic pleasure to watch, to walk here. And the more you go up, it's sort of sloped ramps, and the higher you climb, the higher your expectation and your excitement level gets. And it reminds me of the National Gallery in Ontario from Moshe Safdie, where he created the same effect. So, and right now, like I said, I'm on the 5th level. I'm enjoying the view. It's a sunlit space. I'm seeing Saint Boniface. I see the Red River, and I see the bridge. It's a beautiful spot.
That's great. Thank you, Ole.
Hey, now, Emily, you want to make sure we click onto Kaan's camera so we can see as he's roaming around?
Oh, yeah. Look at this. We have Kaan on right now giving us the view that Ole was just talking about of Saint Boniface and the forks and the bridge. Looks awesome. Thanks, Kaan. Thanks, Adrian. Now, Mark, you're from Winnipeg. Do you want to tell us a bit more about the building and what it means to your hometown?
Well, guys, I'm a pretty proud Manitoban today. I was born in a little town called Portage la Prairie, and I was in Winnipeg for my high school years. So it's been a long time since I've been here, and I have to say, this is a hell of a comeback. This is beautiful. And you know what? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, can we just, we couldn't see you there. Maybe that's good.
Oh, I'm trying to show you the dining hall.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, it couldn't happen to a nicer town, and I'll tell you why. Winnipeg has been such a historic crossroads, and a lot of pioneering efforts in human rights have been created here. I mean, it goes all the way back to the first meetings between Europeans and the native peoples of this area. The Louis Riel movement began here. It has the largest urban First Nations community in Canada. And then we've got, into the 20th century, we've got the women's rights movement, and Nellie McClung, who was from Winnipeg, who was an icon of that movement. The labor movement, there was the famous Winnipeg strike of 1919 that really drove labor rights to the forefront. And then also, in general terms, I mean, it's always been a crossroads, cultural crossroads. The railway ended here, immigration, all of the European settlers in Eastern Europe, Ukrainians, Icelandic, everybody came here, and this became a real crossroads. So it's so fitting that that this museum is in this city, and I hope I don't sound biased, but I'm really excited that it's in Winnipeg. It's a great milestone for this town.
That's great. And how about you, Christina? Can you tell us a bit more about where you are and what your thoughts of the museum and the city are?
Yeah, well, I arrived 2 days ago, and I've never been to Winnipeg, so this is my first time, and I've learned so much already just from listening to Mark. When I first looked at the building, my first thought was wow, a spaceship has landed. And, you know, in the context of the Winnipeg skyline, this is just out of this world. When you look at the tower that's poking up through the center there, it almost looks like a broadcast tower that might be beaming back messages to outer space or something like that. So in one word, it's otherworldly. It's really out of this world, quite amazing. I'm in the Garden of Contemplation, which is built to resemble Northern Ireland's Giant's Causeway, with basalt rock and pools and greenery. So it's like a quiet, contemplative space.
And if anyone wants to know exactly where Christina is, she's right there above my shoulder.
Oh, there she is.
So that's the Garden of Contemplation.
Wow.
Great. And now, Adrian, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah,
You're right above the contemplation garden, right?
Yeah, I'm right here. This is also not just a museum; it's a facility for both administration, learning about human rights. There's going to be an education component where kids will be from kindergarten to grade 12 will be able to learn more about the atrocities of the past and how we can prevent them in the future. So, you know, it's a very dynamic museum, and it was a museum that started in 2003. This project has been going for more than a decade. The architect, Antoine Prédoc, he's one of the world's most renowned architects, and he won an international competition to build this, and it's considered his masterwork, a very special building that's going to be a significant one for Canada for a long time.
Absolutely. And now you're setting up for an event tonight. Can you tell us a bit more what's going on in Winnipeg?
Hey, big party. You know, I guess Mark's down there on the ground floor where the big reception is, so maybe we'll throw it over to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a preview of the reception, and it is going to be a hell of a party, guys. I can hardly wait. It's beautiful down here. I'm in Buehler Hall, which is the main reception hall, and it's gorgeous. It really is going to be a spectacular evening. Now,
Jim, do you want to tell us a bit more about Go Media and the event itself and what's going on tonight?
Yeah, we've got journalists from all over the world here, and people from Canadian Tourism Commission, from the Yukon to Newfoundland, from Bonavista to Vancouver Island, you might say, and it's a great opportunity to learn about events that are going on in Canada through the year, new neighborhoods, new emerging great destinations, great activities that people can learn about. So there's a lot of Canadians here learning more about our own country, and there's a lot of people from Europe and Japan and South America learning about all the great things in China. So it's it's a pretty cool spot. But I think one of the things that really impresses me about this place, and there was a woman last night that taking us to some beautiful neighborhoods, to Assiniboine Park, which is a lovely part of Winnipeg, just outstanding, one of the best parks I've seen anywhere in the world. And she was so proud because there's such a cooperative spirit here, which I think Mark touched upon, and they spent $142 million of privately raised money to get this facility built, and that's the way things are done in Winnipeg. These folks, they've got some really proud people in Manitoba, and they've contributed to help make this a better city and a better destination. So I give them, full marks, 2 thumbs up for raising money for a fantastic facility.
Absolutely.
They got it done. It's that prairie know-how.
Absolutely, absolutely, it's great.
Great.
Ole, you know about architecture. You've covered it a little bit.
What I like to add is to Antoine's product. He's called also the outlaw of American architecture, and this is really one of his products here. It's not cerebral. It's not cool, but it's really like intuitive. Because when you stand in front of it, you really don't know how to describe it because there are no straight lines. The lines are bending, curving, sloping, lifting, rising, and it's quite a whirling force of nature. And I'm really happy for Winnipeg that the town received this landmark, which is the new best reason for visitors from Europe to come here and spend a few days before they go to Churchill to see the beluga whales.
Yeah, good point. Now,
Christina, what are you looking at there? It seems like you're staring up at the top there.
Yeah, well, I was just showing you the architecture while Oleg was talking about it.
Yeah.
So that's, like the tower, it's the bottom of the tower, and it goes straight up the top, and it looks really space age. So sitting here in the Garden of Contemplation, kind of trying to do a little bit of meditation and just absorbing the space and feeling the light above me. It just feels like I'm somewhere on a prairie somewhere, thinking about just connecting with the sky and the earth. It's beautiful. So I believe the Garden of Contemplation is a place to sit and contemplate and talk about issues, and issues that affect, not only issues that affected us in the past, but perhaps in the future as well. So I think it's well done. This is really stunning.
Yeah, wow. Now, in terms of exhibitions that are going to be inside the museum, Adrian, do you want to talk a bit more about that? What are we going to be seeing other than the beautiful architecture?
Yeah, the exhibits will be in place for the September 20th opening. What we do know is they're going to be covering human rights issues that aren't just about Canada, aren't just about major events of the past, such as the Holocaust and the Nelson Mandela's rise to prominence in South Africa. It's going to be about things happening right now, right today. How do we solve problems today? There's going to be interactive displays, interactive parts that the public can debate some of the complicated, very dense, very nuanced issues, both past and current, and I think it'll add a great deal of dimension and understanding for not just Canadians, but people who come to the country to learn about it. It's one of those international facilities. The builders here say it is unlike any other museum in the world, and in that way, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great.
I agree. I think for me it's as much about the future as it is about the past, and it's a very rare thing for a museum, which we normally think is a collection of artifacts from the past. But this thing is all about solving our problems today and into the future as well. That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Now you're setting up for that big party tonight. But is there anything else you want to add to this hangout that you'd like our viewers to know as a final thought?
Why don't we start with Christina and go over?
Okay.
Well, I think that this building is a must-see when you come to Winnipeg. It's really put Winnipeg on the map, and it's just stunning. It's just a one-off, and it's something that when you come here, and in fact, it probably would be an attraction for someone to come here. When you come all the way from Australia, we don't really have buildings like this, so I can see that a lot of visitors from overseas might actually put Winnipeg on the map just because of this building.
Great. Jim?
I think my friends back in Toronto are going to have Winnipeg envy when they see this building and hear about it. You know, I honestly don't think there's anything in the city of Toronto that can compare with the majesty of this place. We've got some nice additions lately of, you know, the Art Gallery of Ontario, some other things, but this is going to be a really cool place. And I like the fact that the giant tower is called the Tower of Hope, because there's a lot of hopes riding on this building. And I think based on what I've seen, it's going to be a home run.
Great, thanks, Mark.
You know, as a native Manitoban, we often think only of polar bears in terms of tourism, and I think this is a wonderful addition. I mean, it's polar bears and the power of the human spirit to endure and overcome, and I think that is an amazing place, amazing idea that we can capture here, and I'm very proud to call it my hometown.
That's great. Thanks, Mark. And Ole?
Well, I'd like to pick up what was said previously, that the name museum, or the designation museum, is a little bit misleading, because it's not a place where you put old stuff and for presentation, and it's more a learning center, and it's a very light and illuminated place. It's the right spot to discuss grave matters like such as human rights, which are, as we all know, abused at a level nowadays that is enormous. So this is a light and a friendly space, and it makes you think about many things and contemplate. So I hope for the future that people come here and chill and relax and talk with each other, and this is the best place to do it, and meet each other no matter where they come from and what they believe in. So this is the ideal spot, I feel.
Great, and I have nothing else to add. These guys have been fantastic. What a great job, guys. Wonderful job.
Thrilled to be here.
Yeah, and it's just an outstanding museum. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thanks, Emily, for hosting. And everyone have a great time tonight. And everyone who's watching this, make sure you get to Winnipeg to see this fantastic facility.
Yeah, and tell us what you think as well on the museum, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Google+, obviously, and tell us what you think about the museum itself, the video here, and you can find this video on YouTube if you haven't joined in live. Thank you, everyone. You've been really great, and enjoy Winnipeg.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Perfect.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.